to pray for the rich, because we both need each other. But some kind of way, even the church now, I'm going to take my time and do this quick. We have gotten confused about who is really running this thing. Did I say something that time? If you believe and know that God running this, why do you get so bent out of shape when it looks like man is running it? And if you believe that man is running it, why you run up in here to ask God to help you when you trust in it? Y'all gonna pray with me just a moment? If someone treats you wrong or do you wrong, that doesn't change what the person just did. I'm getting into this. Yeah, I'm sorry, ushers, but I told y'all I had started preaching. Y'all know what I'm saying? And we got Jane back there. If someone is doing you wrong, I have done you wrong, why do you get so hurt and bent out of shape? I'm not saying it don't hurt you, but I think the first question that need to come up out of mind when life take a negative turn in our life is to ask God, God, am I treating you that way? The way that I'm being treated and it's hurting me. The first question that need to come out of our mouth is, God, am I treating you that way? And if I am, thank you for letting me know, showing me how you feel, because now I feel that same way. Y'all praying with me here? In the text, life is full of ups and downs. In the text, we have a young man that was taken captive out of his homeland. Daniel and his 3 young friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Sound like I'm slow, but this something ain't gonna last long, so I got to make it there, y'all. Come on. They were taken out of their homeland, which is Jerusalem, because not them, but they were part of the group that had disappointed God, because God had blessed them, and they started paying more attention to the world than they did God. So God took an evil nation, a nation that didn't know him, to go in and punish them. Brutally killed a lot of them and took a lot of them away back to Babylon. I'm closing this out now, get ready. He took them back to Babylon, and he took the best of them, the princes of that city, Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, to go and put them in his cabinet. Now, the first thing that I learned that shocked me, that when Nebuchadnezzar took those boys and put them in his cabinet, and when you in the king's palace, if you are male, the first thing he did was castrated you. Because he could not have the men hang around the women with a full charge. Somebody ought to say, pray, preacher. So that messed me up automatically, because those boys are eunuchs, because that's the first thing they did. But what messed me up, not that they were eunuchs, but they still maintained the integrity. And they did what God called them to do in the palace, although they were done wrong. Why? Because their life and the life of their friends and the life of their country depended on them not getting hung up on how they were treated, but being available to God wherever they were at and whatever state they were in, because God was working on something. They were there for sin, but when they went there to Babylon for sin, God was already preparing a way for them to come back out. And the quicker they changed their minds and see that it was God that sustained them, and not our money, not our land, and not our sense, then God said, okay, now that you got it right, I can free you because you hung up on your hang-ups. I bring you and give you and bless you, and the first thing you do is go buy a stack and put it up and say, that's the what's blessed me. We need education, and that's kind of getting to me now, because I see where it has failed us. Not education, but our thoughts about it, because we have made education a God in our heart. But if education was the way out of this situation, what come is not working in the White House? Don't they have? If education, preach, boy, somebody should have got him shouted with that one right there, because some of us hung on it. It's the way out. What come our cities are struggling? Are our leaders educated? I need to write that. Come on with it, preacher. Now I'm not going against educated, but if you're an idiot and you get education, you're just an educated idiot. Can I take my time? We need it, but not to sustain us. God is the only one that can sustain us. Moses had to learn that in Egypt. Best schools, best of the land. And he thought that was going to help him get his people out. Pharaoh loved it, but God had to send him in the desert for 40 years to educate him, to raise sheep. But that's another story. He got these boys in, and these boys amazed me for doing this. And they went through several things there, and God had to bring them and do some things. But in chapter 6, Darius is made king, and Cyrus was the king, and Israel had started returning back home. God had let them go through that evil king that God called his servant. God let them go back home, but Daniel is still there. He was in the government, top official in the government, because of what God had put in him. Well, Darius was there, and he loved Daniel. The first thing he did when he got king, he did 120 cities and princes and put them over them, and then made Daniel the top dog over the princes. He made 3 presidents for they all had to answer to, and then he made Daniel the top dog. Well, watch this here. Now, when you do that, you bring attention to yourself. King Darius loved Daniel because of the spirit that was in him. Although he was a king that didn't know God like Daniel, he loved him and worked with him and put him in charge because of the spirit that was in him. And the people that was under him didn't like it. Don't you know that somebody's always trying to knock you off at the top? That's the reason they say that's the reason, Lisa, they say when you go to the top, and when you're going to the top, watch how you treat folk, because you're going to meet them on your way back. And if you didn't help nobody on your way to the top, don't look for no help on your way back down. And that ground hit hard when you don't have no help. Can I preach a little while here? Well, they upset at him. They don't like it because the king showed favor. Now, is he bothering them? No. Matter of fact, he's a blessing to everybody. He's helping everybody. This boy's a Jewish boy in the kingdom. Now, they had Ezekiel them out in the field. We need some Christians in government. We got to have them now. But they also got to operate according to the law that's in the government. We also need some Ezekiels and some Uliasea Littles out here in the field that's not afraid to speak truth to power. Like those boys in Nashville did. Y'all pray with me here. See, y'all messing with me already on here. You can't say it on your job because you won't get fired. I don't need you to get fired because I need you tired. But I can say it for you. So we said, so they looked at this boy and they couldn't find nothing on him. Kind of like what they did with Obama. They couldn't find nothing on him. Don't y'all know if that boy had done something, they were going to find it? Now that is messing me up because I don't think there's nobody alive that they ain't done something. Look at the person next to you. They said, I know you look all right, but you done something. You done something. Look at the other person. Don't nobody know but you and God. You done something. You done something. And look at the other person and say, they're just telling me, you know. Now look at him and tell him, whatever, look at him one more time and tell him, whatever I done, I'm not telling you. Amen. So when you look at this, they couldn't find nothing, but this is what they want to get him on. They said, look, y'all, if we're going to get him, we got to get him in his faith. He trusted God. He really trusts that God of his. And we're going to set him up. We got to set him up with his faith. So they got together and come up with some rules and regulations. Got in the Senate and got to pass through the Congress. They went to King Darius and said, okay, we set these rules and regulations, King Darius. We want to honor you. We done went through the Senate and we done been through the Congress. Now all we need you to do is put your signature on it. He said, what is it? He said, well, we want to honor you, King. And this honor, we want 1 month for 30 days. We don't want nobody praying or talking to their God except you. And if they do, we want you to put that in writing, sign this, we got it in the decree, that if we catch anybody praying or talking to their God other than you, Darius, we're going to put them in that lion den. And the lions ain't ate in about 3 weeks. That sounds good to Darius, because you don't know. See, when people come at you, that's when, I don't care who it is, whatever it is, when people come at you, you really got to be talking to God. Because you do know that Satan come in sheep clothing. Y'all with me here? And the only way that you can tell a wolf that's wearing sheep clothing, not that you know the traits of the wolf, you need to know the trait of the sheep. Yeah. Y'all gonna pray with me here? See, a wolf can dress up like a sheep, but they can't act like a sheep. I should have got a bigger hand clapping praise than that. Ain't y'all, hey, some of y'all know that. Some of y'all done got hooked up with them wolves that you thought was a sheep. So they went to him, and that sounded good to him, and that man signed that decree. And everybody knew what the law was. I got to close, and now I'm getting ready to close it. Everybody knew what the law was. Daniel read it. They made sure he had one in his hand. Anybody pray? And ever since Daniel been in Babylon, 3 times a day, he would go to his house. His window was open, east toward Jerusalem. And he would bow down in that window, face Jerusalem, and talk to his God. He read it. It's law. It's signed in. And here's the penalty. Y'all so quiet on me. What you gonna do? 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 What you gonna do when you got 5 mouths to feed? And this job telling you, if you go to that church, you got to make a decision between church and the job. Tell me how you gonna feed them mouths when you go to, y'all gonna pray with me? What church you go to Christ Baptist? You know Christ Baptist ain't got no money. How you gonna feed them mouths? Look at your neighbor and ask him what you gonna do. What you gonna do? Don't answer that yet, because you don't know what you're gonna do right now. So. You ain't going to church 52 Sundays a year. Never miss one, even when you were sick. But now all of a sudden, he said, now you either come here on Sunday or lose your job. What you going to do? Y'all going to pray with me? You been coming to the church, you been doing devotion, and you been hollering about, I'm in the army. What you gonna do? So say, we've been coming in, sir. I know the Lord will make a way somehow. I'm gonna stay on the outside. So Black, now what you gonna do when that is challenged? I gotta close it now. Well, they got a law in the land. They got a law in the land. They got a law that a man can marry a man. That a woman can marry a woman. Uliasea, I told you, yeah, that homosexuality is an abomination to me. And now when they come to you and say, the law says you got to marry us, Uliasea, what you gonna do? See, y'all looking at me out there. I'm gonna do what you already know I'm gonna do. Tell you to get up out of here with that. I didn't get but a few hand clap of praise in it. Look here. That don't mean disrespect God's law. I mean, hit the gist of the sermon right here. But when man's law contradict God's law, you got to make a decision. And everybody got a choice. Oh, I'm preaching up in here today. When government, and God gave us government, but when government is at odds with God, you caught in the middle, and Mary, you got to make a decision. When you get through talking to me, when you get through talking to the psychiatrist, you got to make. What you gonna do? No praying, and you already know the consequences for praying, Mel. Now you're looking at it. Ease down, Cody, I'm through. Now you're looking at it, because y'all looking at me like I ain't doing nothing up here. And I know I'm preaching up in here today. I know I'm preaching. LaTonya ain't got done went to work yet, so she got to go to work. I know I'm preaching up in here today. What you gonna do, Lou? Now you looked at it. Now, I do have some problem with Daniel. I don't think Daniel even talked to God about it. But it was me. I got to talk to the Lord a little bit. Y'all gonna pray with me here? If it was me, I'm gonna say, Lord, you know, I'm in this king's palace. And he ain't got to come find me. He already know where I am. Now you got to give me some help him. But the Lord didn't say nothing. Have there been times in your life that, yeah, you in a crisis, Bobby, and you can't find your way. And the more you talk to the Lord, you ain't heard nothing from him. Ain't got anybody ever been down and couldn't find your way? And you're down on your knees and said, Lord, have mercy, please. But the Lord ain't saying nothing. I wonder why he ain't saying nothing, because he already knows that you know what he wants. Ain't God all right? And you got to make a decision. But Daniel got up early that morning, went to his window, faced Jerusalem, and prayed. He got up at noonday, went to his window, and he prayed. Late in the evening, went to his window, and he prayed. Oh, yeah. And God, oh, Lord, have mercy on him. The next morning, the FBI, the CIA went to his house, put him in handcuffs, brought him to the palace, said, Daniel, you done broke the rule. There's a Daniel, I tried all night long to get you out of this mess, but I signed a decree. Woo! Somebody ought to say, yeah, oh, ain't God all right? Give me that Father. Neighbor, I know some things have happened to you, but if you hold on, God got an answer for you. If you hold on, God gonna use this thing to raise you up. Yeah. All right. Daniel said, okay, I know you tried. He said, Daniel, I got to put you in the line then. He put him in the line then. Roll a stone over it. Put his seal on it. Oh, I got to close him now. Went on back home. Courtney, Cody, Adrian, and Carl went in the king's palace about 8 o'clock, like they usually do, and play him some sweet music. But I heard the king say, I don't want to hear no music. Yeah. And God all right. He laid down on his CD Posipedi. I know they got something better than that now, but that's the only one I know. But he couldn't go to sleep. Silk sheets. He lost his appetite. All night long. All night long. All night long. All night long. He couldn't go to sleep. I got to crossing now. Early. I said early. That next morning, he got in a hurry, went down to the den, stopped at the exit, stopped at the door open. Stone was still there. He said, Daniel, oh Daniel, oh Daniel, Daniel, did your God come to see about you? He heard a small voice. Chastity, he heard his voice. Said, King, coming out the tomb, coming out the den, live forever. Yes, I'm alive, and I'm well. Ain't God all right? He said, all night and all day, God sent an angel that watched over me all night long. Shut the lion's mouth. Give your neighbor a high five. Say, neighbor, if you hang in there and trust God, no matter what man do for you or do to you, God got an angel that's assigned to you, that's watching over you all day and all night. If you trust him, ain't God all right? If you're sick, you got an angel. If you're broke, you got an angel. If you're depressed, you got an angel. If you're lonely, you got an angel. Sugar diabetes, you got an angel. High blood pressure, you got an angel. Is there anybody here know that God brought Daniel out? Brought Daniel out. Daniel said, bring me a pen. I'm going to write another decree. If I catch anybody talking about Daniel God, ain't God all right? If I catch anybody downing Daniel God, because there's no other God beside the God of Daniel. And to show you what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you an example. Bring them hypocrites. Bring their children. Bring their wife. The lions are still hungry. I want you to take all of them and throw them on there. I want to bless the lion for not hurting Daniel. Ain't God all right? Those lions had a party, but Daniel went back to the palace, sat high, was a ruler, helped his people. Ain't God all right? Daniel represent the church. If the church keep its integrity, no matter what the government might do, they might put you down, they may tax you, tax ID, but if you hold on, God will make a way for you. That's what he did for Jesus. One Friday, he died. God raised him up. The door was open. You between government and God. And when they conflict, where are you? You got to answer that. The door was open. If you're only dealing with sight, you ain't gonna make it. Your faith got to kick you in, and faith see further than sight. If your situation got you locked in and you can't go no further, you ain't gonna make it. You got to ignite your faith. How do you do that? Romans 10:17 says, faith comes by hearing, and hearing the word of God. So this is a new beginning for you. At least you're here to hear what God is saying to your heart. Somebody get some help. Now somebody get some hope up in here today. Because I know you're looking good, you're smelling good, you're acting good, but shoot, you in trouble up in here. You're struggling. Your mind playing tricks, your family playing tricks, you playing tricks. Y'all preach, boy. Tell somebody, everybody playing tricks. Now get an attitude and look at him and say, trick, trick, trick. You got to get you some God. See what we have now and give God a praise in this place. Were you blessed by that today?